This video is about finding out where a circle intersects the axes, that is, where it goes through the x-axis and where it goes through the y-axis. Here's an example. Find where x squared plus y squared equals 9 intersects the x-axis and the y-axis. So we'll have to do these separately, so let's start with the x-axis. Well, first of all, it's important to remember that when we want to find where anything goes through the x-axis, there's a key piece of information that we're always going to use, and that is y equals 0. This happens in the chapter on the line as well as the chapter in the circle. So all it means is that wherever I see a y in my equation of the circle, I'm just going to replace it with 0. And so in this case, I'll get x squared plus 0 squared equals 9. And obviously 0 squared is just 0, so I end up with just x squared equals 9. And now I want to solve for x. Well, if x squared is 9, then I can square root the 9 to get the solution for x. But it's very important to remember that when you square root a number, there are two possible solutions for it, the positive solution and the negative solution. So I want to get the positive root of 9 and I want the negative root of 9 also. Well, the positive root of 9 is just 3, or positive 3, and the negative root of 9 is just negative 3. So now I know that the circle x squared plus y squared equals 9 intersects the x-axis at x equals 3 and x equals minus 3. It's no harm at this stage to write these two things as points. And don't forget, of course, we know what y is equal to. Y is equal to 0. So 3, 0 and minus 3, 0. And now I'll do something very similar for the y-axis. And of course, if I use y equals 0 for the x-axis, then for the y-axis I must be using x equals 0. So it's pretty much the same process all over again. I go back to my circle equation, and this time wherever I see an x, I put a 0 in. So 0 squared plus y squared equals 9. You can probably even see at this stage what the solution is going to be. So I'll tidy this up to y squared equals 9. And then I'll square root, just remembering to take the positive and the negative versions of my solution. So I get y equals 3 and y equals minus 3. And again, not a bad plan at the end of this to make the points. Again, don't forget the x value goes first, the y value goes second. So this time x is 0. So 0, 3. And 0, minus 3. So now I know the 2 points where my circle intersects the x-axis and the 2 points where it intersects the y-axis. So here's a second example. Find where x minus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 26 intersects the y-axis. So don't forget, the y-axis means that I'm going to use x equals to 0. And I can see there that I've got an x in the first bracket. So it's just this x that I have to replace with 0. And then I just need to expand this to multiply it out and tidy it up a little bit. And as always, just take care with your multiplication. And here I end up with 1 plus y squared minus 2y minus 2y plus 4 equals 26. Just make sure that you had the bracket around that minus 1 when you were putting it into the calculator and squaring it. Now to have a look at this, it looks like it's turning into a bit of a quadratic. So I know the format that I want. I want the square at the start, and then the y, and then the number, and I want it to be equals to 0 at the end. And then I'm going to solve that quadratic. So if you think you know where this is going, try that yourself. Pause the video and then play and see if you were correct. So I end up with y squared minus 4y minus 21 equals to 0. Now I need to factorize this quadratic and solve. So again, pause here. Do that yourself, and then play the video and see if you're correct in your factorization. So this time my quadratic factorizes as y minus 7 by y plus 3 equals to 0. Let each bracket equal to 0. And so y is equal to 7 and y is equal to minus 3. Now don't forget, the whole purpose of the question was to find where the circle intersected the y-axis. I have two y values now, and I'd like to write these as points. Of course, I need an x part of the point. The x part is the x equals 0 I used at the start. So my 2 points are going to be 0, 7 and 0, minus 3. And these are the points of intersection of the circle and the y-axis in this question.